Today we have a GE gas dryer that is not heating. It does spin, but it won't heat. You want to make sure that you have your temperature setting on heated dry. There's one called fluff air that has no heat, and that will create a problem of having no heat, which is easy to fix by turning the dial. But in this case, when I tested it on the heated selection and I went around back to feel the exhaust coming out, it was just cold air. So I know there's something wrong with one of the internal components that's not letting it heat up. It could be an igniter, it could be the high limit that protects it from overheating, it could also be the primary and secondary gas valves or gas coils, but they're all pretty easy to work on. So just testing it again on some different settings on the dial, like the time dry, seeing if there's anything wrong with the controls, but it seems fine. So I got it unplugged. I'm going to push it on these two clips at the top so I can hinge the top out of the way. And then using my multi-tester, I'm going to go in the upper back right corner. There's a little yellow.
Hey guys, can you take just a second to click on the subscription link below? It really helps our channel, and also the bell notification, so every time we make a new video, we can send it right to you. We make a new video about once every week. Really appreciate that. And if you give us a thumbs up, it'd be great. Thank you.
High limit, I'm going to put my probes on there to see if I hear a beep. And it does beep, and that means that that has continuity. So that is not blown. That it was blown, that would also stop it from heating. I think it would also stop it from turning, I believe. So I'm going to remove this modular connector that brings power to the front of the dryer. And I'm going to remove the front panel. There's a couple of Phillips head screws here that are about 6 inches down on the left side and on the right side. Once I get those screws out, I can go ahead and grab the top of the front panel and pull it toward me, and it will release a couple of clips that are holding it in there. So I just yank it toward me, and I have to lift it off of two little clips at the bottom. And now that I have that out of the way, I have really good access to all the important parts inside the dryer. My suspicion is there might be something wrong with the igniter, so I'm going to use my continuity tester to test to see what the ohms of resistance are on the igniter. So it lives back inside the silver cone we were just looking at, inside there. And pretty easy to get to. I'm going to go ahead and grab a pair of pliers to pull apart this electrical connector, this modular connector. It's bringing 110 volts to the igniter. I'm going to set my continuity tester. I'm going to put the probes down into the modular connector, the back of it, for the igniter. It's important that you have these separated before you do this test. And I'm just going to look at my meter to see how many ohms of resistance it shows. And the meter shows that there's no resistance. That means that basically the igniter is broken. It's kind of like a wire, and the electrons don't have a path to flow. It's like an open circuit. So I definitely have a bad igniter. In this case, I'm going to use my fingers to push it off of a spring clip that's holding it on. Sometimes you have to remove a little screw that's holding it on, but this model is just a spring clip. So the igniter doesn't look too bad. I can't see an obvious break, but I can tell from the meter that it is broken. I'll pull the spring clip off of it because I want to reuse that. And I do happen to have an igniter with me. It's a very common dryer igniter that's common to a lot of different models. Just testing again by putting my probes on the connector, still get an OL, which means it's just an open connection, that it's basically in effect a broken wire, so that electrons don't have a path to flow through. This is the new one. Let's test this to see what we get. I'm going to put my probes in the back of it and see how many ohms of resistance. We come out with 56 54.6. Okay, so that we know that one's working. Brand new. Has a different kind of a look to it also. So we tested the high limit, that worked. We tested the igniter, showed it was bad, so we'll go ahead and replace it. So I'm going to put the old spring clip on the new igniter, and I'm going to put it back on the metal plate that's holding it. I'm basically going to slide it back on. Be careful that you don't bang up that shiny igniter against any of the metal pieces because it's really fragile. So just take your time. I'm going to put it on there, and then I'm going to push in and wiggle with my fingers to get it to go forward so the spring clip goes up over that metal bracket. All right, got it in there pretty good. So I can go ahead now and connect the power coming to the igniter. I want to make sure I get this seated as far together as it can go. While I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and replace these primary and secondary gas coils because they're really cheap and they're easy to replace. You just got to pull a couple of Phillips head screws. They're basically electric solenoids using a magnetic field. They pull up on a pin that allow gas to flow into the combustion chamber. And if they get weak, the flame doesn't stay on long enough and you don't get very good results. Here's the part number for the primary and secondary gas coils. I think it's only about 20 bucks for these. There's a skinny one I just put on where the terminals are at the top. And then there's a fatter one with the terminals at the bottom. I'm going to grab that older gas coil now, and I'm going to go ahead and separate it from its electrical connector. Sometimes they're on there kind of tight, so I'm going to wiggle and pull apart those two things. There we go. There's the old ones off. And this little round thing here, I'm pinching, that you got to make sure that that stays on that post when you put on the fatter one. Sometimes it comes off with the old gas coil. I'm going to go ahead and put on the bracket that holds it on, and I'm going to wiggle around the gas coils until their little white indexing point sticks up through the top of the bracket. There's one, there's two. That helps me know that I have them in the right place. I'll go ahead and add the Phillips head screws back in. So these are real easy to change. Get those tight. And I'm going to go ahead and put the electrical connectors back on. The skinny one has 2 terminals on the top. And the fatter one has 3 terminals on the bottom. I have to just wiggle, get them lined up and wiggle those on, make sure they're fully seated. And we're good. We have a good igniter. We have good brand new gas coils. We have a good high limit up in the upper right-hand corner in the back that we know is good. It's not tripped because we had continuity. And we're just going to go ahead and reassemble it. We'll get rid of some of the lint that's in there. I'm sorry I don't have all the reassembly, but we're basically going to do the front panel in reverse, put on the bottom clips, push it shut, and then add the screws back in, and then add the modular connectors together and close the top. Just cleaning out the little filter housing there too before I put the filter back. Sure, that's nice and clean. And it ended up working really good. Heated back within about a minute. It was full heat, and that's all it needed was that new igniter. But the gas coils is just a good thing to add while you're in there because they go out about every 4 to 5 years. So we set the dial, turned it on, and I could feel the heat coming out the back. I also added the vent tube back.
Thanks so much for watching our video. Please leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. We really appreciate that. We have a really nice video coming up for you right here that I think you'll enjoy. Very similar dealing with appliance repair. So thanks again for watching our video.